Call the meeting to order. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and the city in which we live. Guide us this afternoon as we make our decisions. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen.
Good afternoon. This is the May 13th, 2025 regular meeting of the Newnan City Council. You have the minutes from the regular meeting of April the 15th, 2025 before you. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. We adopt the minutes as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Under boards and commissions, the first thing I'd like to do today is introduce our Newnan Youth Council attendees. We normally don't have youth council attendees at our daily meeting, so congratulations for not being in class this afternoon. So the first is Emma Kaler. She is a senior at Northgate. We appreciate you being here and appreciate your time that you served on the council, and congratulations on your upcoming graduation. The second is Sadie Keith. She is a sophomore at Newnan. Welcome. And the third is Annie Glenn Winstead, a sophomore at Newnan. Welcome today. Thank you for your service. Okay, going on to appointments. The first item that we have here, all of these that are belong to Ms. Jenkins on the list, if you'll just put them on the next agenda, please. The next one is a replacement for a vacant seat on the Convention Authority, and I would like to nominate Jennifer Morrison.
Second.
Serve.
Second.
Motion is second to nominate Jennifer Morrison to serve on the Convention Authority. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carried. The next Cultural Arts Commission, I would need to put that on the next agenda if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Guillaume has informed me that next one is the next agenda. And the next is Cindy Idson on NURA. I would like to reappoint Ms. Idson.
Second.
Motion and a second to reappoint Cindy Idson on the NURA Commission Authority. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carried. And then the final one today, I would like to reappoint Ms. Lily Smith to the Youth Activities Commission.
Second.
Motion and a second to reappoint Lily Smith to the Youth Activities Commission. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carried. Mr. Phillips, do you have anything today?
I do not, Mayor. Thank you.
I do have one thing today that is on the agenda, and this is a discussion regarding an amendment to the Code of Ordinances, Chapter 10, Environment, Article 2, Section 10 through 36, noise, to change the time from 10 p.m. to 9 p.m., and I would like to make a change right away. I'm suggesting to council that we change it, the end time on construction from 10 p.m. to 8 p.m., not 9 p.m. You've got the ordinance that we're talking about. Phillips has made a copy of that particular line. This stems from the commercial activity with one of the people who are building to move into town. And their location there at Avery Park is contiguous with residential properties. And I don't mean 100 feet away. When I mean contiguous, I mean adjacent to these residential properties. And it's creating quite a burden on the people who live not only in those properties, but also across the street and down the street. And I think we need to reconsider the stop time. It would still be a 7 a.m. start time, but my request of council is that we instruct staff to come back and change this one line in this ordinance from
So the end time
10
at
p.m.
night stops earlier.
to 8 p.m.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
that's,
I'll second that.
Okay. I can't make that motion. Is that a motion?
I'll make a motion. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a second?
second.
Okay, so the motion and second is to instruct our attorney to change the ordinance and bring it back to us at our next meeting. Mr. Sears, is that timing appropriate? Okay, thank you. And so that we can take a look at this and actually have a vote to change the ordinance.
Is it 7 days a week, or is it, how does
Good
that?
question. It'd be,
This doesn't specify days a week.
It does not specify days of the week.
So
I
I'm
believe
assuming
it's-
it's all days.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I just,
It only specifies 1,000 feet from any residential property.
That's right.
And we're only looking at the construction, not the landscaping and everything else.
Well, no, it's everything.
I'm just looking at the highlighted portion.
Landscaping's gonna make just as much noise with,
I agree, but I was just looking at the highlighted section. I thought it was just the construction portion, not landscaping.
well, I think we
Or
consider
amplified sound.
landscaping in a project, in a construction project.
We've changed the whole, no, there's A and B.
So sub,
Okay,
Yeah, we've changed A and B and C.
so 1, 2, and 3.
Do you want to leave C as it is, the amplified sound? Which is what we've had before, and we've talked about that many times.
yes, I would like to leave C the way it is, the amplified sound, please.
That does away with the house. You want to change it to eight o'clock?
I was thinking we were just changing number 1,
Well,
and that's the only one we're changing, the one related to construction.
Adjacent to a residential neighborhood.
Yeah, the one in highlight is one I was thinking we were voting on.
okay, and not two is Mr. Correct Code.
Correct, not 2, it's not highlighted.
I don't want to make it too hard, but to me, Saturday morning for lawnmowers would be better at 8 or 9 o'clock than during the week when more people are going to work anyhow. It's not going to bother as much, but that's just a thought.
No, but I'd be amicable to ending the hours earlier than 10 PM. Again, just the noise in the neighborhood.
It'd be interesting to cut your grass in the dark. I think it would much be
Yeah,
easier.
Yeah, I mean,
During daylight hours.
9 PM is plenty late enough to be cutting your
During the
grass
summertime.
and blowing.
However,
That's what happens.
Oh, commercially, if you want to do it at your house, you can probably do it.
So we have a motion on the floor. The motion, I think, was just pertaining to one.
Number 1.
And now we're expanding that conversation, discussing that motion to whether or not we want to change the time in number 2 from 10 to 8 or to 9.
I just, y'all, on landscaping, in the summertime, it gets dark pretty late. So if you're mowing your grass at 8:30, you may be okay. But certainly in December, when it gets dark, 8:30 is late. So I don't want to go all the way down to 8 maybe.
maybe 9. Yeah, most people aren't doing landscaping in the middle of winter anyways.
Or we can just wait, and if there's a problem, we address it then.
Can we use sunset?
Or 30 minutes after sunset?
And then daylight saving time gets changed and
Yeah, I know.
Back
I'm just-
here.
None of it's,
Well, sunset's still
So the
sunset.
sunset varies as
Well,
well.
9 PM.
God
cut
doesn't
off
bow
at
to the
night is a-
that's right.
Whims of government.
That's true. So
9 PM at night is a fair time to cut it off, isn't it?
I think year-round 9 is late enough to be cutting grass.
Okay,
personally.
so are you amending?
I'm amend it to include number 2, changing 10 PM to 9 PM.
Okay,
And that was 8 o'clock for number 1.
8 o'clock for number 1.
yes, and leave 3 the way it is.
Leave 3 the way it is.
And everything's still starting at 7
I'll
AM.
accept the amendment or whatever it needs to be
All right,
done.
so we still have a motion and the second amended. Any more discussion on this? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carried. Thank you, Mr. Sears. Okay, the next item on our agenda today then is under new business. This is a public hearing. I'm going to open at this time regarding an application for alcohol beverage license. This is the Bell Street Burrito. The address is 55 Newnan Crossing Bypass. The reason for this is a new business. So I have opened the public hearing at this time. Is there anyone here that would like to come forward to speak to the issue? Is there a representative here today from Bell Street Burrito? Okay, thank you for being here. We appreciate that very much. Okay, is there anyone who would like to speak opposed to the issue? I'm going to close the public hearing at this time and ask if everything is in order. It is, so I ask for a motion on the application.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. We approve the application as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
thank you.
The next the item is an appointment to the voting delegate for the GMA annual business meeting. Who is going to GMA? Ray, would you like to be the voting delegate?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
That'll be my last time.
Yeah, I think it did, this same thing. Is there a motion to nominate Mr.
So moved.
Second.
Motion, a second, we nominate Mr. DeVos to be the voting delegate to the GMA Annual Business Meeting 2025. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carried. The next is, you've got a ballot in here on the GMA District 4 officers of 2025. Is there a motion we accept that ballot?
So moved.
Second.
Motion accept, would that we accept the ballot provided with GMA for the District 4 offices? Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Like sign, motion carried. The next, Mr. Craver, is a consideration of the 2025 City Council Retreat Report. You have this item before you. This is just staff coming to us to verify that these were the items. And, you know, once our.
I'll make that
Board
motion to
vote.
accept.
Okay.
Second.
Motion is second. We accept the consideration of the 2025 City Council Retreat items. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Like sign, motion carried. Mr. Gravy, you did such a good job on that one. You're up again on the
Thank you, sir.
consideration of bicycle and
Yes.
pedestrian facilities update.
Thank you, sir.
A little
Mayor
bit
Brady,
A little bit
members
more lengthy.
of the council, yeah. Presented to you during your May retreat, the bike ped plan, which is an update from a previous bike ped plan, included information about ways in which the city could become a little bit more intentional about the way we spend money and adopt policy to invite safer pedestrian facilities as well as bike facilities. The plan has not been changed. That's in your packet. It's what you saw. The indications we received as staff members while at the retreat were that you were supportive of the program and the plan as it was shown. So I can answer any questions you may have about the plan, or if you want to add anything to it or make any changes to it, we're happy to do so.
Mr. Thompson?
Yep. Hasco, I want to add two things.
Sir.
The first one is, in an effort to promote link within residential, commercial, and industrial developments, I'm asking council to support staff in investigating tools to incentivize link improvements through policy amendments to the zoning ordinance,
Okay.
such as, you know, you could use it as a amenity, link could be an amenity, green space bonuses, things like that.
Yes, sir. We're happy to do it at the pleasure of the council. Yeah, we can come back to you with some recommendations. The planning staff can bring some back. with the
Perfect.
ways
We've
in
done that a
which we can
couple of
do
times,
exactly
kind of
that.
well, officially we've done it, but we didn't call it,
Yes, sir.
you know, this specific thing, but yeah.
Is there any objections from the council instructing staff in such a direction? Okay, all right. And you had the second
Right.
item?
The second one is similar. Just ask the council to instruct staff to investigate looking into two certifications, national certifications by nonprofit 501c3 organizations. The first one is a bike-friendly community, and both of these, and the other is a run-friendly community. Both have a lot of overlap with what we're doing on this bike ped plan. So why don't we just investigate how easy it could be to get both of those,
Yes, sir.
one or both of those.
And if the council's okay with it, we could add these as objectives in the implementation strategy of the plan. Staff could insert that here upon adoption with those corrections. We can put that in, and we work towards those certifications. And as we check in monthly, annually, you'll get an update as to how we're moving towards becoming bike-friendly or run-friendly.
I have a question, two questions for Mr. Thomason is, are these recurring certifications, they have to be renewed every so often, is it once and done?
You know, I think they are renewable type,
Okay.
you know, maybe 5-year renewables.
Okay, like if you could include in like the time and effort, the manpower expended to do the renewals also in that, just because that's going to be an ongoing cost then.
Exactly.
The second part of that is, you're more familiar with these than I am. What are the benefits to the community, to our city, for having these?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Is it worth the effort to put into it?
Well, you know, that's really I want Hasco, the staff, to look at. That's a
Yeah.
great question right there. But to me, having those designations says to the community, people visiting a current community, you know, we are bike-friendly, we are run-friendly by having those certifications. The other is, I think it's just another way to hold us accountable to doing things that are safe, provide safe places, safe ways for people to cycle and walk and run.
Kind of what we're already
I have
doing.
no knowledge.
Like we're already
but I-
doing.
I told Jim, I assume sometimes when you're applying for some grants, if you have that certification, it can't hurt you, and it might help you with some grant for some portion of the link that we were trying to do. You know, never know what comes up, but it can't hurt you in that circumstance.
Yeah, so just add that on to his stuff. I appreciate it.
I'd like to expand on that just a bit too. I'd like for the staff to go ahead and send out to me and the council the designations for these two things so that we can actually dive into what the application looks like and the costs. And,
Yes, sir.
you know, I'm sure there'll be some benefits expressed in the application process so that we can all just have all of these questions answered. I think
Yeah,
that'd be
perfect.
important as we move
Yeah.
forward. Okay, so any objections to direction, staff? Okay, we'll move forward. Mr. Thompson, anything else?
That's it. Thank you.
Okay, all right, fine. The next item, unless Mr. Craver, you have anything else?
Not on that item, no, sir.
Okay, so you're up on the next item. This is the
Right.
discussion of the potential island annexation of
Yeah,
certain
so,
properties.
third council retreat-related item on today's agenda, if I could draw your attention to the screens up there. As you may recall, during our conversation, we talked about annexing certain islands. Not, are they or are they not, but for certain islands, located within the city limits. The council at the time had asked for staff to provide certain information. One is, are those properties claiming homestead exemptions, which is a reasonable way in which we may be able to determine if, are they owner occupied or not.
That's right.
Typically, owner is, he or she's gonna claim that homestead, exemption. So we did that, it's in your packet. Then we also looked at current utility service. Are any of these locations being served by municipal water and/or sewer service? And all that information is located in your packets. So all the information is being presented to you, and we're seeking further direction. If you would like to start the process of a council-initiated annexation, we can move forward. We can have some discussion about how you would like to do that. If not, that's fine too. But we're presenting you the information that was requested at the retreat and seeking direction.
So I would like to make a motion that we proceed with the annexation as we discussed at the retreat with the numbers 8, 9, 11, or 10, 11, 12, and 13. Would that be what it needs to, is that the motion, or?
That's a motion.
Yes.
Okay, Brad was looking at me like, what are you talking about?
He's writing the numbers down real quick.
All right,
Yeah.
okay. Just
8,
wanted
9,
to-
10, 11, and 13.
12.
And 12.
Yes, sir, as is on page,
Including 12.
the following page.
Yes, 8, 9, 10,
So
11,
essentially, the list that was provided in the agenda.
yes.
Correct.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right, more discussion on that? Anyone? None? I'll call the question. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those like sign, motion carried. We're on to page 2. The next item is consideration of a contract award for asphalt concrete pavement preservation, 2025. Mr. Clark, how are you today?
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. This would be our summer of 2025 paving project, annual paving project. And I provided you with a list of streets and the approach we're going to take. We put it out to bid, and Blunt Construction was the low bid at $2,159,637.84. And we would recommend that you all award a contract to them so we can get them started.
Any questions of Mr. Clark? Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion is second. We accept his report and the recommendation of Blunt as a construction company. Any discussion, questions? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carried. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Mr. Norton, how are you today?
Good, Mr. Mayor.
Good. You've got several items before us here. Discussion of cemetery staffing and future operations is first.
Absolutely. Back on March 25th, we came to council to ask for some direction as far as opening and closings, you know, and then some staffing questions come up, and council asked for a report back, so you have a summary there, of what we've got now is eight full-time employees with 2 seasonal workers. We would like to take Eastview back under, city maintenance and not contract that out. And with Farmer Street coming online, there's still some questions, of what Farmer Street's going to entail. But we're anticipating if we keep burials in-house, that we would need somewhere between 2 to 4 employees. Probably 2 full-time, maybe 2 of them being seasonal, but seasonal are hard employees to keep, and hard employees to get right now. So, I'm here to answer any questions, and
I have a question, just for clarity's sake.
Yes, sir.
Looking on page 251, I want to make sure I'm understanding this. If you take the grave openings outsource, we're on that topic as well, correct?
yes, sir.
So if you outsource that, then what I'm reading this is to understand you don't need those extra employees. Would that be correct?
That is correct.
All
We do
right,
not
so,
anticipate.
and as per cost per employee, total package, $70,550 per, times 4 or whatever.
That is correct.
So it seems logical to me and common sense wise, you take it back in-house, we contract out to the openings and closures so you can maintain staff as it is. Am I summing it up that correctly?
You are, and there are some costs, and just for instance, we spend about $54,000 a year on the contractor at Eastview. But we got about, I believe Mr. Phillips is $120,000 budgeted for burial opening and closings, which comes to the city, so those numbers are going to kind of offset.
So it's substantial savings to the city, even if you're subcontracting it out.
Well, it depends on where the fee, if the city passes that full fee on to the resident or
Right, and the fee,
user.
well, that's the next step, correct? So the fee is at $850 to $900, correct?
Yeah, once the thought was to get direction, and I will come back with a fee schedule, option and a contract award. Today, we need to decide if we are going to outsource and get the ordinance changed where we can do that.
So do I make the motion to outsource? That's what
Second.
you need?
Motion a second to outsource the cemetery services based on the recommendation from the city staff. Discussion.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
You said we pass on that fee. Do we not charge a surcharge on top of the fee that they would charge us?
Right now, because we're doing it in-house.
I'm saying, but if we go to that way, there's administrative costs is what I'm saying involved in that. So it seems logical we have some portion of that fee added on top, but I don't know, but it just seemed like an idea.
I think that's what he plans on bringing back to us as a fee schedule.
We'll definitely bring back some options and whatever, is y'all's pleasure.
Is that okay? You good with that? Okay. Anyone else? Good. Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carried. Thank you. The next one is a consideration of ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinance, Chapter 7, Section 56, personnel to dig grave. Mr. Norton, you're still up.
Absolutely. This is exactly the ordinance we just discussed. It's going to enable us to use a third party.
If we'd said no to the first, we'd need to say no to the
We would have skipped that, and I've been one closer to sitting down.
Okay,
All right, so I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion is second. We adopt as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carried. Thank you. The next is a consideration of a contract extension on debris removal services. You're up.
Absolutely. This contract was originally executed back during the November 21 tornado. It was a one-year contract with 4 one-year renewals. This is the last year for the renewal. There's no cost associated with it. It's just in place in case we need to activate it in case of another natural disaster.
Okay, so we renew the, if the council approves, we renew this year, and this is, like you just said, the last year of our renewals. Can we move forward with discussion about options for further renewals?
Absolutely.
Mr. Phillips?
Yeah, we'll need to reissue another RFQ process to stay in compliance with FEMA procurement. We will certainly do that well in advance of this expiration so that we'll have a new contract in front of this body. But yeah, we can't just continue to extend this current one just because of the FEMA guidelines. SDR's been a great partner. Hope we never have to see them again, but we certainly need this and all of our contracts. I think Mr. Norton has 2 other contracts that will be coming to you.
Yes.
The next meeting, one for debris monitoring and the other one for public assistance.
Okay.
We've all learned in the state of Georgia how critically important these
Have these
contracts are.
contracts in place.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't want a gap year,
We won't, we won't.
no gap years. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, we adopt as presented regarding the contract extension for debris removal services. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those like sign. Motion carried. Thank you. The next is consideration of a surplus property declaration and disposition of capital assets and controlled assets. This list is before you. We've done this many times. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion second, we approve as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carried. The next item is a consideration of a 180-day postponement of our arbitration proceedings and the annexation request of Green Top Road, Ever Hour Phase 2. You have this before you on your desk, the intergovernmental agreement. We took this action on,
Sidney Pope.
yes, that's right, Sidney Pope project. It seems common sense to us to move forward with this again.
Absolutely.
So is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion a second to approve the resolution as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Thank you. No unfinished business today. We go to visitors, petitions, communications, and complaints. The first is a request from RPM to close Madison Street between Jefferson Street and Jackson Street for 3 community events in the summer of 2025. You have this before you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Gentlemen, would you like to speak? There's a motion and a second to approve the request. That's the right answer. Okay. I'll call the question. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you for doing these things in the city. They're well attended. Appreciate it. The next is from Bridging the Gap to host summer lunch at C.J. Smith Park from May 27th through July the 25th, Monday through Friday, 11:30 to 1:30. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Motion a second. We approve the request from Bridging the Gap for summer lunch at C.J. Smith Park. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carried. Thank you. The next is a request to close Wesley Street between St. Clair and Richard Allen Drive on May the 25th, 2025, from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. for the Rocky Hill Day event. Is there a motion here?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. We approve the request as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carried. The next is a request from Melita Whitaker to close Paul Street between Pinson and Johnson Avenue on July the 26th, 2025, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. for a back-to-school bash.
Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Motion second. We approve the request as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carried. No other business items on the agenda today. We do have one need, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, for an executive session for legal and real estate.
Got it. I move that we now enter into closed session as allowed by OCGA 50-14-4 and pursuant to the advice of the city attorney for the purpose of discussing real estate, and that we, in open session, adopt a resolution authorizing and directing the mayor or presiding officer to execute an affidavit in compliance with OCGA 50-14-4, and that this body ratify the actions of the council taken in closed session and confirm that the subject matters of the closed session were within exceptions permitted by the open meetings law.
Second.
Motion and second, we move into executive session for real estate and legal. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carried. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in executive session